In the silent forge of the soul, where fire meets unyielding steel, the spirit is shaped, not by the fleeting winds of others' judgment, but by the relentless discipline of one's own will. Like the ancient samurai who embraced Hagane no Ishi, the iron will, each of us stands at the anvil of life, hammered by doubt and shaped by the burning flame of self-mastery. To care what others think is to be shackled by invisible chains, bending your spirit to their transient whims. But true strength lies in Shin, the heart of unwavering resolve, where the self is forged pure and untouchable, a blade tempered through trials and fire. Today I call upon you, fellow warriors, to step into this sacred forge alongside me. Commit to this path. Comment X below to pledge your journey. Subscribe to join our brotherhood and sisterhood of resolute spirits. And thank you for standing with us as we carve out our destiny together. This is not just a speech. It is a ritual of transformation, a testament to the Mujo, the impermanence of all but the steel-heart spirit within. The end is to embrace your Hagane no Ishi, your iron will, is to accept the unyielding force within that refuses to be bent or broken by the swirling opinions of the outside world. In the ancient traditions of the samurai, iron was not merely a metal. It was a symbol of endurance, resilience, and an unbreakable spirit forged through intense heat and relentless hammering. Similarly, your will must be tempered in the fires of challenge and struggle. It begins with the understanding that your value is not dictated by the approval or disapproval of others, but by the strength of your own commitment to your path. When you embrace this iron will, you move beyond fragile self-doubt and the need for external validation, stepping into a realm where your spirit stands firm like a blade sharpened to perfection. This kind of will is not arrogance. It is quiet confidence rooted in discipline, self-awareness, and the deep knowledge that you are the master of your own destiny. To develop this iron will, you must train your mind as a warrior trains his body. Daily, with unwavering focus and deliberate intention. The opinions of others can strike like countless blows, but without a solid core, even the smallest criticism can cause your resolve to falter. The samurai understood that true strength comes from within, and that the heart of a warrior is not immune to pain or fear, but chooses to rise above them regardless. When you cultivate your Hagane no Ishi, you learn to meet adversity with calmness, knowing that each trial is a chance to temper your spirit, making it more resilient and true. This is a process of continual refinement, recognizing when to heed constructive feedback and when to let go of baseless judgment, allowing your will to shine brighter through the fog of distraction and noise. Embracing your iron will also means accepting responsibility for your own growth and choices, without blaming the opinions of others for your setbacks or insecurities. The strength of Hagane no Ishi lies in ownership, owning your fears, your failures, and your triumphs. It is a steady flame that burns regardless of the winds around it. When you embody this will, you no longer bend to social pressures or live in the shadow of others' expectations. Instead, you create a life forged by your own standards and values. This path is not easy. The fire of transformation is often painful and isolating. But like the samurai who walks the way of Bushido with honor and courage, your iron will be your constant companion, an invisible armor that protects you and propels you forward on the journey to becoming a warrior of true freedom, unshackled from the chains of what others think. To release the chains of judgment is to free yourself from the invisible prison that others' opinions can create around your spirit. Like a warrior breaking free from shackles forged by fear and doubt, you must recognize that the judgments cast upon you are often reflections of others' own limitations and insecurities, not truths about your worth. The samurai knew well that to allow external judgment to dictate their actions was to surrender their power, becoming slaves to the ever-shifting tides of public opinion. These chains weigh heavy, binding your heart and mind, causing hesitation, self-censorship, and the loss of authentic expression. To truly release these bonds, you must cultivate the strength to see judgments for what they are: fleeting, external, and ultimately powerless, unless you give them meaning. This liberation does not come from ignoring all feedback, but from discerning which voices deserve your attention and which are nothing more than noise trying to distract you from your path. The process of breaking free requires deep self-awareness and courage. It means confronting the discomfort that arises when you stand apart from the crowd and refusing to shrink back into conformity. The samurai's path was one of solitude as much as strength, a deliberate choice to walk where few dared, undeterred by whispers of doubt or criticism. When you release the chains of judgment, you reclaim your freedom to choose your own values, goals, and actions without the burden of trying to please or avoid displeasing others. This act of rebellion against social expectation is not reckless defiance, but a disciplined practice of self-respect and inner peace. Each time you choose your own truth over the fear of judgment, you strengthen the resolve to live boldly and authentically, forging a spirit that cannot be broken by fleeting opinions. Ultimately, releasing the chains of judgment means embracing your inherent worth independent of approval or rejection. It is an act of radical self-love and respect, a commitment to honor your journey no matter how different or misunderstood it may be. Like the samurai who carried the weight of life and death with dignity, you too must carry the weight of others' judgments lightly, knowing they do not define you. Instead of letting judgment constrict your heart, allow it to be the wind that tests your blade, making your spirit sharper and more resilient. This freedom opens the way for true creativity, confidence, and peace. When you no longer seek validation from outside, you step fully into your power, living as a warrior of your own making, unbound by the chains that once held you captive. Cultivate Shin, Shinna resolve, is to nurture the silent, unwavering flame that burns within the depths of your spirit, guiding you through the storms of doubt and distraction. In samurai philosophy, Shin represents the heart of steadfastness, the core of a warrior's courage and focus that remains unshaken regardless of external chaos. This inner resolve is not born from fleeting motivation or surface-level enthusiasm, but from a deep-rooted commitment to one's purpose and values. It is the calm center in the eye of the storm, the quiet voice that says, "Stand firm," when the world demands you yield. To cultivate Shin is to train your mind and soul to remain anchored, to cultivate patience and persistence, and to develop a discipline that refuses to waver no matter the circumstances. This is the essence of true strength, an unbreakable center forged through consistent practice and a conscious choice to honor your inner truth above all else. Building Shin requires embracing discomfort and uncertainty, for it is in these moments that resolve is truly tested and strengthened. The samurai knew that battles were not only fought on the field, but within the heart and mind. To cultivate this inner resolve, you must learn to face fear, rejection, and failure, without losing sight of your path. It demands a warrior's mindset, one that understands every setback is a lesson, every hardship a chance to refine one's spirit like a blade tempered in fire. Shin grows stronger when you choose persistence over surrender, clarity over confusion, and action over hesitation. It is a daily commitment to stand tall in your convictions, even when the world tries to sway you. This resolve becomes your foundation, enabling you to move forward with grace and determination, undeterred by the shifting opinions or judgments of others. Ultimately, cultivating Shin is a sacred practice of self-mastery and trust in your own inner wisdom. It calls you to listen closely to the voice of your heart, to honor your deepest intentions, and to walk the warrior's path with humility and strength. Like the samurai who carried their resolve as a silent, invisible armor, you too develop a resilience that transcends external turmoil. This inner resolve empowers you to act with authenticity, to embrace your unique journey, and to remain steadfast in your purpose, no matter the challenges ahead. When you cultivate Shin, you become the master of your own spirit, unyielding, focused, and free. To harness the power of discipline is to command the relentless force that transforms intention into reality, like the steady hammer shaping raw iron into a blade of unmatched strength. Discipline is the backbone of the samurai's way, the silent architect of greatness that forges consistency out of chaos and order out of distraction. It is not merely about restriction or rigid control, but about cultivating the inner strength to choose what matters most. Day after day, moment after moment, in the fire of discipline, weaknesses are burned away and the spirit is tempered with patience and resolve. This power demands that you show up for yourself even when motivation fades, that you resist the fleeting temptations of comfort and ease, and that you push forward with a steady hand and unwavering focus. Discipline is the quiet force that keeps your will aligned with your purpose, the invisible thread weaving your actions into the fabric of your destiny. Discipline is often misunderstood as a harsh master, but it is, in truth, the greatest ally of freedom. The samurai did not live by whim or fleeting desire. Their lives were governed by rigorous practice and steadfast adherence to their code. To harness this power, you must learn to embrace structure and routine, not as chains, but as the foundation upon which your strength is built. Each disciplined choice, no matter how small, is a deliberate stroke in the forging of your character. This process requires humility to accept setbacks without losing momentum, and resilience to rise each time you fall. Through discipline you build endurance, mental, emotional, and physical, that allows you to withstand criticism, ignore distractions, and stay true to your path. It is the bridge between dreams and accomplishment, between who you are now and who you aspire to become. Ultimately, harnessing discipline means cultivating a warrior's mindset that values perseverance and self-mastery above all else. It calls you to honor your commitments not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Like the samurai who sharpen their skills daily, regardless of circumstance, you must cultivate habits that reinforce your inner strength and align your daily actions with your deepest values. Discipline anchors you in your purpose, providing clarity amid confusion and momentum through resistance. It is the steady flame that keeps your spirit burning bright through the darkest nights, ensuring that your will does not falter. When you harness the power of discipline, you take control of your life's forge, shaping yourself into a blade of unyielding focus and relentless power. To accept Mujo, the impermanence of opinion, is to understand that all things, including the judgments and thoughts of others, are fleeting, like cherry blossoms carried away by the spring wind. In the way of the samurai, Mujo teaches that change is the only constant and nothing remains fixed. Not praise, not criticism, not even the opinions that once seemed to define us. To cling tightly to what others think is to grasp at smoke, a futile effort that only clouds the mind and weighs down the spirit. Embracing Mujo means recognizing that opinions arise and fade, shaped by shifting emotions, circumstances, and perspectives that are beyond your control. When you internalize this truth, you free yourself from the tyranny of external validation, understanding that no judgment holds permanent power over your inner world. This acceptance does not breed indifference, but cultivates wisdom, an awareness that allows you to stand firm, regardless of the ever-changing winds around you. The practice of embracing Mujo requires deep mindfulness and surrender. The samurai accepted the transience of life itself, knowing that everything, from glory to defeat, is impermanent. Applying this to opinions means observing without attachment, allowing praise and blame to pass through your consciousness like waves upon the shore. You learn not to root your self-worth in others' fleeting views, but to ground it instead in your own steady spirit. This does not mean ignoring feedback or becoming closed off, but rather cultivating discernment, choosing which voices to heed and which to let drift away with the tide. By accepting impermanence, you reduce the emotional turmoil caused by judgment and create space for growth, clarity, and peace. This is the essence of a resilient heart, able to endure criticism and praise alike without losing its center. Ultimately, to accept Mujo is to embrace freedom. The freedom to be who you are without fear of shifting opinions or temporary approval. It is a radical surrender to the flow of life, a trust that your worth and purpose remain intact, regardless of external noise. Like the samurai who walked the path with grace amidst uncertainty, you too cultivate a spirit that is fluid, yet grounded, flexible yet unwavering. When you accept the impermanence of opinion, you unlock the power to live authentically and courageously, no longer imprisoned by the fleeting judgments of others, but anchored in the enduring strength of your own truth. To forge confidence through action is to understand that true courage and self-belief are not gifts bestowed upon us, but weapons crafted in the heat of experience. Just as the samurai's sword is shaped and strengthened, not in idle waiting, but in countless battles and relentless practice, your confidence is forged by stepping forward, taking risks, and embracing the uncertainty of the path ahead. Action is the hammer striking the steel of your spirit, each deliberate step a strike that chips away doubt and fear, revealing the unshakable core within. Without action, confidence remains a fragile illusion, built on wishful thinking and external validation. But when you commit to movement, however small or imperfect, you transform potential into power, and hesitation into momentum. This is the essence of mastery, knowing that the warrior is made in the doing, not in the dreaming. Embracing action as the foundation of confidence means pushing beyond the paralysis of overthinking and the desire for perfect conditions. The samurai did not wait for a flawless moment to draw their blade. They acted with precision and intent amidst chaos and uncertainty. To forge your own confidence, you must be willing to embrace discomfort and even failure, recognizing them as essential parts of the refining fire. Each action taken, whether it leads to success or setback, adds to the strength of your spirit, teaching resilience, sharpening your focus, and expanding your capacity to trust yourself. Over time, this cycle of courageous action and steady learning becomes a virtuous circle, where confidence grows not from external approval, but from the undeniable proof of your own capabilities and perseverance. Ultimately, forging confidence through action is an invitation to embody the samurai's warrior spirit. Undaunted, proactive, and committed. It calls you to rise each day with intention, to face challenges head-on, and to view every moment as an opportunity to deepen your resolve. Like the sword that becomes razor-sharp only through constant honing, your confidence becomes unbreakable through repeated, purposeful effort. When you embrace action as your forge, you step into a life of empowered self-trust and authentic presence, no longer waiting for others' approval, but creating your own legacy with every bold move forward. To silence the inner critic is to confront the relentless voice within that questions your worth and clouds your mind with doubt, much like an enemy within the gates, seeking to undermine your spirit. The samurai knew well that the fiercest battles are often fought not on the battlefield, but within the heart and mind, where fear and self-judgment wage war against courage and confidence. This inner critic is a shadow forged from past failures, societal expectations, and internalized voices that whisper you are not enough. But to silence it is not to deny its existence or suppress your emotions. Rather, it is to acknowledge the critic's presence and choose not to surrender your power to its harsh words. This requires cultivating awareness and compassion, recognizing that this voice is often misguided, rooted in fear, and not the true measure of your spirit. Like the samurai who masters both sword and mind, you must learn to disarm this inner adversary with calm resolve and unwavering focus. Silencing the inner critic demands discipline and practice. The samurai trained their minds as rigorously as their bodies, developing the ability to remain centered amidst chaos and noise. You too must cultivate this mental discipline, learning to observe your self-doubt without judgment and gently redirect your thoughts towards strength and possibility. Techniques such as mindfulness, affirmations, or meditation become your tools, sharpening your awareness and quieting the turbulent waves of negative self-talk. Each time you choose silence over self-attack, you weaken the critic's grip and strengthen your inner peace. This does not mean you become blind to areas for growth, but that you approach yourself with the honor and respect befitting a warrior, recognizing your intrinsic value beyond imperfection. Over time, this practice builds a fortress of self-trust and resilience, enabling you to face challenges with clarity and confidence. Ultimately, to silence the inner critic is to reclaim sovereignty over your mind and spirit. It is an act of radical self-respect, declaring that you will no longer allow fear and doubt to dictate your path or diminish your light. Like the samurai who walks with steady breath and focused gaze, you learn to move through life anchored in self-acceptance and courage. This silence opens space for your true voice to emerge, a voice grounded in wisdom, compassion, and strength. When you master this inner stillness, you become a warrior of your own soul, unshaken by the noise, within or without, fully empowered to live boldly and authentically. To live authentically, beyond fear, is to step boldly onto the path of your true self, casting off the heavy cloak of hesitation that fear weaves around the heart. In the samurai tradition, authenticity was not a mere ideal, but a sacred practice. A commitment to embody one's values and purpose with unwavering courage, regardless of the trials faced. Fear is a shadow that seeks to distort your vision and chain you to a life shaped by others' expectations. But to live authentically is to ignite the Hagane no Ishi within, a fierce inner steel that cuts through doubt and timidity. It is the resolve to stand firm in your truth, even when the world demands conformity, or when the unknown looms large. Living beyond fear means embracing vulnerability as strength, recognizing that courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it, allowing you to act with clarity, passion, and integrity. Authenticity requires a constant, conscious practice of self-honesty and alignment. The samurai's way was one of constant reflection and discipline, ensuring that their actions mirrored their deepest beliefs and that their words carried the weight of truth. To live authentically, you must look inward, shedding masks worn to appease others or hide insecurities. This is no easy journey. Fear often whispers that your true self is not enough or too risky to reveal, but the warrior's path is forged through embracing these fears, confronting them with steady breath and unwavering focus. Each choice made in alignment with your authentic self strengthens your spirit, sharpens your resolve, and builds a life of meaning that cannot be shaken by external judgment. This is the path to freedom, the freedom to live without pretense, fully and unapologetically. Ultimately, to live authentically, beyond fear, is to claim your power as a creator of your own destiny. It is a declaration that your life will not be dictated by shadows of doubt or the approval of others, but by the clear light of your own purpose. Like the samurai who moved with grace and intention through uncertainty, you learn to trust yourself and the journey ahead. This way of being calls you to embrace your unique voice, to act with integrity, and to walk your path with fierce determination and compassion. When you live authentically beyond fear, you become a warrior of truth, embodying freedom, strength, and the unbreakable spirit of a life fully lived. As we stand together at the end of this journey, remember that the path to truly stop caring what others think is not one of denial or rebellion, but of deep inner forging. A continuous process of embracing your Hagane Ishi, releasing the chains of judgment, and cultivating the unshakable Shin within. You have learned that discipline tempers your spirit like fire shapes steel, and that accepting the impermanence of opinion, Mujo, frees you from the weight of fleeting approval or criticism. Through courageous action, you forge confidence that cannot be taken away, and by silencing the inner critic, you reclaim your mind as the warrior's greatest battlefield. To live authentically beyond fear is the ultimate victory, an expression of freedom born from relentless self-mastery and honor. This is not a destination, but a lifelong commitment to the way of the warrior's spirit, where each day offers new challenges to test your resolve and sharpen your blade. Thank you for standing with this community of warriors, united in forging ourselves beyond the noise, beyond the doubt, and beyond the shadows of others' opinions. Together we carry the will of steel, unbroken and ever strong, into the future we choose to create.